The flames erupted like a solar flare, devouring the orbital station's docking bay in a roar that drowned out the screams of the dying. Captain Elias Thorne didn't hesitate. He plunged into the inferno, his suit's heat shields screaming in protest, driven by the sight of her crumpled form amid the wreckage. Who was she? Just another refugee from the shattered colony below, or something far more dangerous? Elias's boots pounded against the buckling metal floor, the air thick with acrid smoke and the metallic tang of melting alloys. Alarms blared in his helmet, warning of structural collapse, but he pushed forward. The woman lay motionless, her slender frame half buried under a fallen beam, her dark hair singed and her skin pale against the glowing embers. He knelt, his gloved hands shoving debris aside with frantic urgency. "Hold on," he muttered, though she couldn't hear him over the chaos. Lifting her into his arms, he felt the unnatural lightness of her body, as if she were made of something other than flesh and bone. But there was no time to wonder. The station shuddered, a massive explosion ripping through the adjacent corridor. He burst out of the flames just as the bay doors sealed behind him, the vacuum of space threatening to suck them both into the void. Collapsing against the bulkhead in the emergency airlock, Elias ripped off his helmet, gasping for breath. The woman's eyes fluttered, open, iridescent violet like nothing human, and locked onto his. In that moment, a strange warmth flooded his mind, a whisper of gratitude that wasn't spoken. What had he just pulled from the fire? He shook it off as adrenaline haze, but deep down he knew. This rescue would unravel everything. The med bay of the SS Vanguard was a sterile haven amid the station's ruins, its humming life support systems a fragile barrier against the cold expanse outside. Elias paced outside the quarantine chamber, his uniform scorched and torn, ignoring the medic's orders to rest. Commander Reyes approached, her face etched with the weariness of too many evacuations. "Thorne, you could have been vaporized. What the hell were you thinking?" "She was trapped," Elias replied, his voice rough from smoke inhalation. "Couldn't leave her." Reyes glanced through the observation window at the woman, now hooked to monitors that beeped erratically. "Refugee from Epsilon Colony? Scans show anomalies. Her biology doesn't match any human baseline. Could be a hybrid or worse." Elias frowned, recalling the violet eyes. Hybrids were rare, products of forbidden experiments during the interstellar wars. But something about her felt regal, even in vulnerability. "We need to get her stable. The colony's gone, orbital bombardment from those Xerian ships. If she's got intel, she could help us fight back." Reyes nodded grimly. "Fine, but if she's trouble, you're the one who brought her aboard." As she walked away, Elias pressed his hand to the glass. The woman stirred, her lips parting in a silent murmur. Was she calling out to him, or warning him of the storm to come? Inside the chamber, the woman, whose name he would soon learn was Lyra, awoke to the hum of alien machinery. Not alien to her, though. The Vanguard's tech was primitive compared to her people's. She touched the bandage on her arm, feeling the thrum of her royal bloodlines, nanites repairing the damage. How had she ended up here, in the arms of a human? The flames, the attack on the station, it all blurred. But one thing was clear. This man, Elias, had saved her without knowing the peril it invited. Her mind reached out instinctively, brushing against his thoughts, a forbidden connection in her culture. He was brave, scarred by loss, driven by a sense of duty that mirrored her own. But if her pursuers found her, he would pay the price. Elias entered the chamber hours later, carrying a tray of nutrient packs. "You're awake. Good. I'm Captain Thorne. You?" "Lyra," she said softly, her voice carrying a melodic undertone that sent a shiver down his spine. "Thank you for pulling me from the fire." He set the tray down, studying her. Up close, her skin had a subtle luminescence, like starlight trapped beneath. What happened down there? Epsilon was neutral territory. Why the attack? Her eyes darkened. "It's complicated. My family was involved in negotiations. Things went wrong." Elias leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "Negotiations with the Xerions? Those bastards don't negotiate, they conquer." She hesitated, then nodded. Yes, but there's more to it. Secrets that could change the war. Her gaze met his, and again, that warmth in his mind. Was it telepathy? He dismissed it as fatigue. But as they talked, a bond formed, fragile, tentative, born of shared survival. Little did he know, this conversation was the spark that would ignite a galaxy-spanning fire. The Vanguard limped through the asteroid belt, its engines straining under the weight of refugees and salvage cargo. Elias stood on the bridge, staring at the holographic display of the Epsilon ruins. Bodies floated in the debris field, silent witnesses to the Xerian assault. Any sign of pursuit? He asked the navigator. None yet, Captain. But our cloaking won't hold forever. Lyra joined him unexpectedly, her quarantine cleared by the medics. She moved with graceful poise, despite her injuries. The Xerions won't stop. They're hunting something specific. Elias turned, surprised. You? Why? She touched the display, zooming in on a shattered module. That was my shuttle. I carry information, vital to the resistance. He raised an eyebrow. Refugee with intel? Sound like a spy. Her laugh was soft, bittersweet. Perhaps. But trust me, Elias, I've seen what they do to worlds like yours. As alarms suddenly wailed, proximity alert, Elias grabbed her arm, pulling her to cover. A Xerian scout ship emerged from the asteroids, weapons hot. Battle stations, he barked. The Vanguard shuddered under fire, shields flaring. In the chaos, Lyra's hand glowed faintly, interfacing with the console in a way no human could. The ship's systems surged, firing a precise volley that crippled the scout. Elias stared at her. How did you? She withdrew her hand, eyes wide with fear. I don't know. But she did. Her royal augmentations had activated instinctively. What would he think if he knew the truth? That she was no mere refugee, but heir to an empire? The skirmish left the Vanguard damaged, forcing an emergency landing on the barren moon of Thalanine. Elias led a repair team outside, the thin atmosphere whipping dust into cyclones. Lyra insisted on helping, her suit adapted from spares. As they welded hull breaches, she shared fragments of her past, growing up on a world of crystal spires where stars sang in harmony. It's gone now, she whispered, destroyed by the same forces that hit Epsilon. Elias paused, his welding torch flickering. I lost my home too. Earth colony, wiped out in the first wave. Wife and kid gone. Her heart ached for him, a human emotion she wasn't supposed to feel. I'm sorry. Pain like that, it binds us. He nodded, vulnerability cracking his stoic facade. But as they worked, a shadow loomed, a Xerian dropship descending. Incoming. Elias shouted. Blaster fire erupted, and he shielded Lyra, taking a hit to his shoulder. Pain exploded, but he fired back, driving them off temporarily. In the med tent later, as she bandaged him, their faces inches apart, a spark ignited. You didn't have to protect me, she said. I couldn't let you burn again. His hand brushed hers, and in that touch, worlds collided. But lurking in the shadows, a Xerian spy drone watched, relaying her location. The hunt was on. Weeks blurred into a tense routine aboard the repaired Vanguard, dodging patrols in the neutral zones. Elias and Lyra grew closer, stolen moments in the observation deck where they watched nebulae swirl like cosmic lovers. He taught her human card games. She shared alien lore, stories of ancient starfaring races. Your people sound mythical, he said one night, her head on his shoulder. They're real, she replied, and flawed like yours, but guilt gnawed at her. How could she tell him she was Princess Lyriel of the Etherean Empire, exiled for defying a ranged union that would have allied with the Xerions? Her blood carried the key to a weapon, a stellar forge that could reshape reality. One evening, as they kissed for the first time under artificial starlight, the ship rocked from an internal explosion. Sabotage. Elias raced to engineering, finding a crew member dead, a Xerian implant in his neck. Infiltrator, he growled. Lyra paled. They're closer than we thought. As accusations flew, Some crew suspecting her, Elias defended her fiercely. "She's with us." But doubt crept in. Who was she really? That night in his quarters, she confessed part of the truth. "I'm not human, Elias. I'm Etherian, a survivor of a fallen dynasty." He stepped back, shock rippling through him. "Etherian? The legends? Your kind vanished centuries ago." "Not vanished. Hidden." She extended her hand, projecting a holographic map of hidden worlds. "We watched humanity rise, but the Zirions, they want our power." Elias's mind reeled. An alien princess? But his heart overruled logic. "Doesn't change what I feel." They embraced, but outside, the stars seemed to darken. What horrors would her revelation unleash? The Vanguard docked at the black market hub of Nexus Station, a labyrinth of neon-lit corridors teeming with smugglers and exiles. Elias sought allies, negotiating with a grizzled arms dealer for weapons. Lyra, disguised in a cloak, accompanied him, her senses alert. "This place reeks of desperation," she murmured. "It's our best shot," he replied. But as they moved through the crowds, a figure shadowed them. A tall, hooded Etherian enforcer sent by her father, the Emperor. He cornered her in an alley. "Princess Lyriel, your flight ends here. Return or face execution." She recoiled. "I won't marry into tyranny." Elias arrived just in time, blaster drawn. A fierce fight ensued, energy blades clashing against kinetic rounds. The enforcer fell, but not before wounding Lyra. As Elias carried her back, she whispered, "They know where I am now. My people and the Zirions." Back on the ship, the truth spilled out. "Royal blood?" Elias echoed, betrayal stinging. "You lied." "I protected you," she pleaded, tears shimmering like diamonds. "My blood activates the Forge, a device that can create or destroy stars." He turned away, conflicted. Love warred with duty. But that was only the beginning. The Emperor's fleet was en route, and the Zirions close behind. Tensions aboard the Vanguard boiled as rumors spread of Lyra's identity. Crew mutinied in pockets, fearing she'd draw destruction. Elias quelled it with impassioned speech. "She's one of us now. Fight for her, fight for hope." Lyra, recovering in quarters, delved into her memories. Her childhood on Ether Prime. Opulent palaces floating in anti-grav fields, lessons in diplomacy and war. But her heart had always yearned for freedom, rejecting the cold logic of a race. Humans, with their raw emotions, fascinated her. Elias embodied that passionate, flawed, heroic. A distress signal interrupted her reverie. An Etherian outpost under Zirian siege. "We have to help," she told Elias. "It's my kin." He agreed, steering the Vanguard into battle. The engagement was brutal, lasers carving through holes, fighters swarming like angry hornets. Elias piloted a shuttle, boarding the outpost with Lyra. Inside, they found survivors, including her brother, Prince Vale. "Sister," Vale said, embracing her. "Father seeks you." "The Alliance." "No," she cut him off. "The Zirions betray all." But Vale's eyes gleamed with ambition. "Join us or perish." Betrayal struck. Vale had sold out to the enemy. A trap sprung, Zirian troops ambushing. Elias fought ferociously, but they were outnumbered. In the melee, Lyra activated her blood link, summoning a surge of energy that repelled the foes. They escaped, but Vale's words haunted. "The Forge will be theirs, with or without you." Elias, bloodied, held her. "Your own brother?" "Power corrupts," she said sadly. The revelation deepened their bond, but the war escalated. What alliances could they trust now? Fleeing the outpost, the Vanguard jumped to hyperspace, heading for the forbidden sector where the Stellar Forge was hidden. Lyra explained, "It's an ancient artifact powered by royal essence. In the wrong hands, it could annihilate fleets." Elias nodded, his resolve hardening. "Then we destroy it." But doubt plagued him. Destroying it meant severing Lyra's connection to her heritage. "Are you sure?" "For you, for us, yes." En route, they faced internal strife. A crew member, loyal to Vale, attempted assassination. Elias thwarted it, but the paranoia grew. Nights were spent in whispered plans, their love a anchor amid chaos. "If we fail," she said, "remember me?" "We won't fail," he vowed. But as hyperspace distortions rippled, a massive fleet emerged, the combined Etherean-Zirian armada. The chase was on. The Forbidden Sector was a graveyard of dead stars, gravitational anomalies twisting space like a mad artist's canvas. The Vanguard weaved through, shield straining. Forge coordinates locked, the navigator announced. Lyra stood on the bridge, her presence commanding. "I'll guide us in." But the armada closed, firing salvos that lit the void. Elias took the helm, evading with skill honed from years of combat. "Hold on." A hit crippled engines, escape pods launched with crew. Elias and Lyra pressed on in a shuttle, docking at the forge, a colossal structure orbiting a black hole, its surfaces etched with glowing runes. Inside, the air hummed with power. Lyra approached the central chamber, her blood resonating. "It's here." Vale and Zirian Overlord Krax arrived, forces surrounding them. "Sister, the forge is mine," Vale sneered. Krax, a hulking alien with chidness armor, laughed. "And with it, the galaxy." Elias fought back waves of guards, buying time. Lyra interfaced with the forge, her mind flooding with visions, creation, destruction, balance. But activating it required sacrifice, her life force. "No," Elias cried, realizing there must be another way. Tears streamed. "This is my duty." But in a twist, she redirected the energy, targeting the armada. Explosions bloomed outside as ships vanished into the black hole. Vale lunged, but Elias intercepted, a fatal duel ensuing. Vale fell, regret in his eyes. "Forgive me." Krax roared, charging. Lyra unleashed the forge's full might, disintegrating him. But the overload threatened to consume everything. Elias pulled her away. "We have to go." The structure crumbled as they fled, the forge imploding in a spectacular nova. The shuttle escaped, but Lyra weakened, her royal essence drained. In the aftermath, drifting in space, she lay in his arms. "I chose you over Empire," she whispered. "And I'd rush into flames for you again," he replied, kissing her forehead. Rescue came from allied ships, drawn by the cataclysm. Lyra survived, her powers diminished, but her spirit unbroken. They built a new life on a frontier world, bridging human and Etherean remnants. Yet, as stars wheeled above, Elias wondered, was the forge truly gone or merely dormant? The galaxy held its breath. But for now, in each other's embrace, they found peace. The flames that once threatened had forged something eternal.